If you're looking for an awesome set of VSTs for your vocal chain that are either stock in FL Studio or they're free, and you want to mix your vocals like a professional, stay tuned. I'm about to show you how. Alright, so let's get right into it. Let's look at the VSTs that are free or stock with FL Studio that make an awesome vocal chain so you can record your vocals like a professional. I'm not going to take a lot of time explaining how the plugins are used. I'm going to save that for some other tutorials, but I just want to kind of get a list together. So if you want to learn from me how to mix your vocals, these are the plugins you want to download and get loaded up before we go into the next part. So let's get right into it. Let's open up our mixer, and this is a list of the plugins that I use. So first, Fruity Parametric EQ. It comes with FL Studio. So what I use this one for is surgical EQ. Like I said in other tutorials, I'll explain exactly what that is, but this is a good graphic equalizer that shows the frequencies as the vocals come through, so you can see which frequencies are hitting higher or lower. And then I use this for, like I said, surgical EQ, meaning you're taking out the unwanted frequencies. Next, Fruity Compressor. It's a good little compressor to start with. I normally, for vocals, I start with 14 on the threshold and at about 4 for the ratio, and then adjust from there. I'm not going to explain exactly what compression is and all of that in this video, but that's the second part in the chain that I use to start. Keep in mind, every vocal chain is not going to be exactly the same. It depends on how it was recorded, what effect you're going for, what type of vibe or mood you're creating, but this is a good start. Okay, next we have Lisp. So Lisp is a free De-Esser that's very easy to use. They have a lot of presets as well. I normally take the reduction pretty far down, and I find that mostly 4.5 to about 7 or so is where most of your sibilances lie, meaning your S's, your T's, your pops, things like that. That's what this is designed to take out, and it's absolutely free. And of course, I'm going to leave a list of all of the download links in this tutorial, so you'll be able to find it easily. Next, Merica. So this is your next level of EQ. So this is a good analog EQ emulator that I like to use to boost certain frequencies in the vocal that you want to really pop and come out. A lot of the mid-range stuff. So this is very easy to use. Like I said, I'm not going to get into exactly how to use it. I'm going to do that in future tutorials, but that's the next one in the chain. MJUC Jr. So this one is another layer of compression, and it's an analog emulator as well. So with compression, it's always good to not go overboard on any one compressor and then use the next level of compression to really narrow it down to get it exactly where you want it. Some people like to use a multi-band compressor. There's a great stock version of that as well in FL Studio. It depends on what you're going for, but I tend to use this one because it gives it a nice analog sound, and it emulates an analog compressor. Next, VSTs. So this plugin is pretty awesome. Here we go. What this does is you have your surgical EQ to take out some of your frequencies that you don't want. This really kind of tames those harsh frequencies. So you don't necessarily need to take the entire frequency out, but it tames it and softens it, which is really important in vocals. It's an amazing plugin, and it's absolutely free. Okay. And then finally, Auburn Sounds Grelian 2. So this is kind of like a free Autotune, or as close as you can get for free. As you can see, you can either set it to the chord, or you can take out certain notes so it only hits certain notes. You could do it manually, chromatically, however you need to do it. But if you're going for any type of Autotune or something like that, this is a great plugin for that. So that's the main stack. That's kind of what I start with most of my vocals. Just so you can see the setup here a little bit, I tend to take this stack. I leave room to add more if I need to in this stack, and then I normally send it to the vocal sends, meaning this vocal main only goes to this channel. So as you can see, I'm routing it only to this channel, the sends. Now, I have 3 sends, meaning I'm sending the main signal to 3 different channels over here. One for reverb, one for delay, and one for double. And the cool thing about this is for every vocal that you have, you can send it to these effects, but you don't necessarily, you can control the amount of send that you're sending and the volume of the effects as well. So if you wanted more reverb on one vocal than the other, you could absolutely adjust that using these sends. So going back real quick, for reverb, I use a limiter to duck the reverb normally, meaning it will read the signal from the main vocal, and as soon as the main vocal is done, it will add reverb then. So the reverb isn't swallowing up the main vocal. You can hear it crystal clear, and then you'll hear that tail reverb after the vocal's done. Like I said, other videos, I'll show you how to do that. And then I use the stock Fruity Reverb 2. Comes with FL Studio. You can lock it in with the tempo. You can adjust everything that you need to adjust. Like I find this is a pretty good go-to reverb. And then finally, I added a little bit of that Auburn Sounds Gralien 2. So as we mentioned before, it tunes the vocal, kind of like Autotune. It's a really cool effect when you tune the reverb perfectly to pitch. It just makes that tail sound smooth and cool. I'll show you that in a future video as well, but that's the chain I like to use for that particular effect, for the reverb effect. Limiter, reverb, and then the tuning. Delay, I just use Fruity Delay 3. I find it's the easiest to use. It automatically syncs with the tempo. You can ping pong, mono stereo, all of your typical effects, but I just find the user interface is really intuitive and easy to use. And then finally, we have a double. This is a vocal doubler that is absolutely free as well from Isotope. I don't think a plugin can get any easier to use than this. You simply decide, you can adjust the variation and the separation. So, meaning your left, right, and the amount. And that's it. That's all there is to it. So that is my vocal stack. A lot of people ask me what I use, especially if I have any free options for what I use. I do have some paid plugins that I use as well, but especially if you're just starting out, I wanted to show you a pretty cool stack. I'm going to include links to all of this in the description of this video. If you find this is helpful, or you just want to use some of these plugins and see how to use each one, stay tuned to this channel because I'm going to be posting kind of a tutorial on each one and how to use it. So please subscribe. If you like this video, please like it. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.